All right, we've taken them for a test run, so now it is time for my initial thoughts on Puma's new Deviate Nitros. Cheers y'all, how's it going? You may have seen my video last week unboxing my brand new pair of the new Puma Deviate Nitros. I have been extremely excited to take these shoes for a test run, and I'm even more excited to give you my initial impressions. But before we jump into that, if you don't already, I hope you'll click that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on any of the videos I'll be posting in the future. We are just 24 days now, I think, away from my first 100-miler, Mohican 100-miler, so tons of exciting stuff coming down the pipeline, and be sure to give the video a thumbs up as well. That just helps other folks find the video. One more quick disclaimer to get out of the way. I am rocking my Bib Rave hat because this was a pair of shoes that was sent to me for free for the purpose of reviewing as part of my participation in the Bib Rave Pro Ambassador Program. All that out of the way, let's get into the review. Just to go over some of the specs right off the bat, the shoe itself weighs 9.4 ounces, and you've got an 8mm drop from heel to toe, covering some of the rest of the specs sort of from top to bottom. You've got a nice engineered, very lightweight mesh breathable upper with a little bit of extra added cushioning or padding right here around sort of the cuff or the collar, and then in this back heel as well, offering a little bit of extra stability. Moving down to the midsole of the shoe, you've got Puma's new Nitro foam, extremely lightweight, cushiony foam here, as well as full rubber outsole on the bottom for extra grip on the road. And then of course inside, always hold it next to the mic so you can hear, you've got that carbon plate, the carbon inner plate, which you can kind of see right in the middle here, but a carbon plate that runs the full length of the shoe, giving you a little bit of extra spring in your step, hopefully propelling you forward. These are Puma's high performance running shoes meant to just crush speed runs, crush new PRs, and continue to set records in the shoes. Hence why I have been so excited to take these for a spin. This is the first pair of carbon plated shoes that I've been able to run in. Specs out of the way, let's talk about the actual experience trying these shoes on for the first time and taking them out for a run. I will say the first thing that I noticed putting them on is that the upper fits incredibly comfortably and that it's lined with sort of this suede material, so it feels like you're wearing a sock. I know a lot of running shoes promise this like sock-like feel. This is the first pair of shoes I've tried where slipping them on, you're literally like, oh my gosh, this feels exactly like a sock, in that it's so thin, so breathable, incredibly lightweight. And again, that suede material just gives you almost like a form-fitting feeling of a sock that you're wearing. Super, super comfortable. The only thing that I'll say about the upper is it is a little bit snug. It definitely stretched out a little bit on the first run, and I'm hoping it will continue to do so. I would likely, if I was purchasing these shoes for myself, go up maybe a half size. I'm at the long end of a 10.5. So I've had a few shoes in the past where I'm kind of on the border. With these, I think I'd jump up to an 11 just because they are a little bit tighter in the toe than I tend to appreciate in my running shoes. But other than that, that's an easy enough fix. The overall fit of the shoes outside of that is extremely, extremely comfortable. And then the second thing that I noticed right away after putting these shoes on, I mean, I kind of wanted to get a feel for it to see if I could sort of sense that carbon plate that's in the shoe. And what I did notice, I'm assuming this is the carbon plate, is just standing still in the shoe. If you lean forward at all and kind of shift your weight from heel to toe, you just feel the shoe almost rock forward, wanting to propel you off the toe, almost rolling. It's as if you have sort of like you're standing on an arc shape almost, and you're just kind of adding weight little by little to that one side. And as soon as you reach that tipping point, the whole thing just kind of rolls forward. That's almost what it feels like. When you're standing still, you're just kind of in that perfect balance mode. But as soon as you put at the slightest bit of weight forward, you reach that tipping point and the shoe just naturally wants to roll forward. So definitely an interesting feel, but really cool, and was very, very interested to see how that would transition into feeling on the run. Would you necessarily notice that on the run, etc.? But it was definitely cool to just kind of stand in these again, feel how comfortable the shoe was, and feel that sort of rolling motion that the shoe just naturally wanted to take. If you saw my unboxing, you may have heard me mention as well that I was a little bit surprised to see that they gave the full rubber outsole, especially I think a lot of shoe companies looking to make like performance shoes and things like that, wanting to try to make them as lightweight as possible. I've seen some shoe companies move to just putting rubber on the pieces of the outsole that get the most contact with the ground to, again, kind of prevent any unnecessary wear and tear on the foam underneath, but also conserve as much weight as possible. So obviously they decided to go with the full rubber outsole, and what I will say is that the sole is incredibly grippy. It just feels like it wants to stick to the ground, and I think that probably helps you get great propulsion when you're really launching off those feet with every step. Definitely noticeable, especially walking around on like tile, linoleum, things like that, how much the shoe just wanted to grip the ground and how strong that grip was was while you were running and walking around. And then the last thing I want to touch on, but also the most noticeable aspect about these shoes when out on the run, is just how bouncy and springy this Nitro foam is. I've run in a lot of, or started running in a lot more shoes that offer this kind of premier foam that different running shoes are putting out. This is the first one that I've really felt a substantial difference in the way that it's contacting the ground, but more importantly, kind of propelling you off the ground. Sure, some of that is probably the carbon plate as well, but you really do feel an extra bounce to your step. And like I said, almost like you're springing forward with every step. That was especially noticeable in the first run I took in these. I am very, very excited to see how that continues. Obviously, I'm coming off injury, so I'm not doing a ton of speed work, and it is killing me that I can't put these to the real test in like some strides or some track workouts or things like that. But right now I'm just focused on conserving my legs, preparing for that 100-miler. But I will say, now that I am officially in for the New York City Marathon, I will definitely be looking to incorporate more speed work into my training for that race. And I am very, very hopeful that these will be the perfect shoe for taking on some of those challenges. I've already been very impressed with the first run. Like I said, just an extremely comfortable ride, very comfortable shoe overall, hoping that maybe the toe box will loosen up a little bit as I run a little bit more in that, but loving the feel of the springiness of the sole when you're running, the responsiveness to the ground, and again, just that natural inclination for the shoe to want to roll forward as you're moving. So very, very excited to continue to put these to the test. I'll be back with another review in the future once I've put about 100 mile on these babies. Check in with how I'm enjoying the shoes, what they feel like, but also just to show any kind of wear and tear that the shoes may be experiencing after 100 miles. And I'm sure that I will start logging those miles incredibly quickly once I shift from 100-miler training to marathon training starting to look towards the fall. But overall, very, very impressed with the shoe. Love it so far. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you have any questions about the shoes, please leave them down in the comment below. I mentioned it before, but if you don't already subscribe, I hope you'll click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the videos I will be putting out in the future. And please give the video a thumbs up as well, just to help others find it. But thank you as always for tuning in. I hope you appreciated the review, and I will see you around. Cheers.